All right, what's up and how's it going, guys? I am your host, Jacob Nestor, and we are in the closet back for another episode. As always, I am joined by my super zany, super cool, constant co-host, Nick Sailing. Look at him go!
Hey! Do 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 do. What's up?
Yeah, how
It's
you
me,
doing? How you doing,
Nicholas
man?
Salem.
How's your Halloween? I haven't seen you since I haven't even talked
Oh
to you
yes,
since we did the last
since
fucking
then,
episode. How was your Halloween?
pretty fine. Had us had a few couple small gatherings. Can't do anything too
Yeah,
extravagant,
of
but
course.
definitely got wasted. That's for sure.
Good to hear. I'm
So,
glad. I was working all Halloween weekend,
oh
getting
yeah,
that
fuck
bag, of
that.
course. It was very fun missing out on all the friends that were dressing up at my house, but that's the way she goes. It's
Damn,
it's been good for me though. It's been
ripperoni.
I've been having a good past 2 weeks. I've been working on a short film script that I started a lot earlier this year. And I basically have it finalized now. It's called Little Red, and hopefully sometime soon I can start working on production of actually making it. So keep a check out on
Let's
my
go.
YouTube channel for hopefully that can come out by the end of the year because I think it's gonna be cool.
Unless we procrastinate.
Unless we procrastinate, which I tend to do with everything. So we'll see. That's why I'm saying it. That's why I'm saying it right here. Hopefully it'll hold me to it.
Jacob, I think 99% of the population can relate to you, so no worries, brother.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, we got to do our thing. You got to look up for your mental health first. But whatever, though.
Facts.
That's a fact. But enough
On a
of that,
stack.
though. Enough of that. We're gonna go into our what we've been watching section, of course, non-spoiler free. So, Nick, you want to kick us off with what you've been watching this past while?
Yeah, so actually I haven't watched too much this week. Been very busy, but
Question before you
I
start: Did you
did
finish
catch a movie
Lovecraft Country?
called
Did Did you not finish the?
no.
Oh,
I need
the
to finish it. I got
bastard!
2 episodes left. I know. Not only that, but I started a new series like yesterday.
Jeez,
So
jeez.
I know it's really bad. It's
I'm
honestly
disappointed.
it's embarrassing because I
Mhm.
heard it was really
I'm
it ended
disappointed.
pretty decently.
I'm very disappointed, but
Um,
it's okay.
so you know what? I'll make a promise before next episode. I'm gonna finish it,
Okay,
and then
good.
we
I
can
like to
talk
hear it.
about
I
it.
like to hear it. Okay. Anyway.
Uh, Starting off, I watched a little movie called Dave Made a Maze.
Oh, what was it again?
This is like a Dave Made a Maze.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, I saw that on your
Have you heard of
letterbox.
this before?
No, I haven't. I saw it on your letterbox, and I did a little bit of
Yeah,
looking on it, and it looked super interesting.
it's a very very unique movie to say the least. Very creative. Um, it, Essentially, I'll try to let me see. Well, here I'll break it down a little bit. This movie is was a Sundance, I believe,
Okay.
and it was definitely on a budget, but most of it is practical, like paper mache, like cardboard. And the reason why is because of this maze. Dave made a maze. Uh, well, I'm kind of jumping all over here. Uh, Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
Uh, I lost my train of thought. Okay. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Nice. Up to a
yeah.
good
Just
start.
edit everything. Edit everything I'm saying. Even when I'm explaining, when I'm explaining the movie, just mute me. And
Yeah. That's
yeah,
what I normally do anyway. This podcast is actually
thank you.
just me
I
talking
appreciate.
to myself usually, 90% of the
I
time.
actually, you know what? I don't listen to them, but I believe you. I believe you.
Of course.
Dave Made a Maze is an indie movie from 2017. Bunch of unknowns. You don't really probably want to know anybody in this movie.
Hmm.
Uh, Director is Bill Watterson, uh, who hasn't done too much, I guess. I think this might be his future. Oh, he was a writer for Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Nice.
Actually makes
It's a
sense.
great show.
Uh, Movies like comedy horror, I would say, and it is about Dave, who lives with his girlfriend in an apartment and is like severely depressed, and decides to make a cardboard maze in his apartment, living room in his apartment. And it turns out that this maze is a little bit bigger than it seems like from the outside. It, it's like a labyrinth essentially,
Uh-huh.
and basically the plot at the beginning of the plot starts with his
Well, don't give away
girlfriend
too many
looking
spoilers
for him.
because I
I
want
won't
to
give.
watch this, and
I,
also obviously, you know.
I'm just gonna explain how it starts, and like
Okay, okay.
the beginning starts with his girlfriend basically finding him, uh, like yelling for help, inside this cardboard like smorgasbord of shit, and basically he's like, I can't get out. He says, I'm building this maze, but I can't get out. It's like a labyrinth. There's a thing down here that may or may not be trying to kill me, and I need help. And they go inside, and the adventure starts there. And I won't say too much, but this movie uh, does a lot with practical effects. That's really really sick. A
Right.
lot of like arts and crafts like looking shit that looks like there's a lot of origami in this movie that's really cool.
Right
And
on.
just in general, it takes like your regular like labyrinth action like story and kind of turns it on its head and makes it kind of goofy and uh, I don't know. It's just really enjoyable to look at. It's like one of those things where you're like, this is fucking fun to look at. Um, I won't say too much about it because I'm thinking about
Mhm.
it now and it's kind of spoilers to talk
Yeah,
about it
yeah. Don't.
further.
I really want to watch this. What did you catch it on?
I caught this is on Amazon Prime actually.
Dope. Okay.
This is
Okay.
a movie I've heard about for years. In like the modern horror circuits.
Mhm.
Um, and I just finally got the time to watch it. I like looked it up randomly one day because I was like, it was this week. I looked it up and I was like, I wonder if I could watch this movie. Turns out I could on Amazon, so I
Right on.
immediately turned it on. And it's a short fucking like hour or 30 minutes. It's pretty good.
Nice. Nice. Good to hear. I'll
Um,
definitely check it out.
let's see. I only watched like two other movies this week.
Hmm.
Color of Space.
Ooh, yeah,
Have you
yeah.
talked about this on the pod?
Um, I don't know, but I really like that movie. That movie's sick. I caught that earlier this year.
Yeah, that movie's real sick. And visually really really cool. I don't. I was thinking about it. I don't have a lot of favorite like Nick Cage performances, but I would definitely add because I think he's a pretty bad actor for the most part. But I I would say like he was a lot like he used like that very like yelly acting that he does, and he used it perfectly in
Mm-hmm.
this. And
Now,
I thought it was really
this
cool.
movie has maybe it's tough because Nick Cage does a lot of really great freakouts in a lot of his movies, you know. Um,
Hmm.
and but this movie might have one of his best freakouts. When he's yelling at his kids, that one part, you know, when he is starting to go like super delirious and he starts yelling at his kids. Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't remember the specific lines, but he has a few specific lines during that freakout that are so
yeah.
fucking just absurd and hilarious and delivered just perfectly. And
At
it's
one point,
awesome.
it sounded like he was speaking another language. Like it was so absurd that
Yeah.
I was like, "What are you saying right now?
Mm-hmm.
Speak English, brother." Um, but I fucking love Color of Space. It was really good. I gotta say the only lacking thing was maybe its visuals. Like visually, like it was kind of stunted a bit. But lack of budget, I guess, and I passed it off for the most part in a lot of horror genre movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I
also Lovecraft.
I definitely agree. With those
Hmm.
complaints, some of it, but yeah, they didn't really ruin the effect of the movie too much for me.
There's also some really sick, like, really, really, really sick. Uh, I won't say too much because it's a spoiler, but like some body horror in there that's
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. I know exactly what
Like
you're talking
really, like
about, and
excellent body horror, like
The
just
one
perfect shit.
over the top shot when it comes over the couch and you see that specific one, is really gross and
Yes,
really
yes,
cool.
yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really,
This
really,
movie gets to
I
some
love it.
really
I love it.
disturbing places.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool fucking movie.
Uh, Not much else I could say about it. Oh, I love fuck Lovecraft, but I love Lovecraft, and
Absolutely.
uh, this is a really this is one of his best, I would say, uh, stories, and I like the way they adapted it into like modern times. It was really good.
Absolutely. Yeah. All the homies hate
So
Lovecraft. Fuck
yeah,
H.P.
uh,
Lovecraft, but
yeah,
fuck does he have a
he's a
good imagination?
racist piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Actually, shout out to the writers that took Lovecraft's ideas and
Yeah.
like did their own thing
Yeah.
with it. 'Cause
Exactly.
it's a lot more, it's a lot better than what he did. Because like
Absolutely.
I'm going off a
And that
tangent, but
basically goes with
Lovecraft,
a lot of shit with
like
what he does.
as creative and as diverse as his writing was, not as lacking diversity elsewhere, but uh, I he described like his creatures like almost like every time he was like trying to say like you can't even describe how fucking crazy this monster is. Like that's how crazy it is. Like if you look at it, you won't fucking believe it, bro. And like okay, like show me, bitch. Like
Yeah,
describe it to me.
yeah,
And,
like that's
and
kind
like
of why I enjoy this because of the creatures. Like fucking tell me about it. It's like no, it's too crazy.
yeah,
You just
and then
wouldn't get it. You just wouldn't get it, man.
it's it's fucking crazy, bro. Swear, bro. Swear to God, bro.
So,
On
I
God.
swear, I
On
swear.
jaw, bro.
On
On marks,
jaw.
bro. On yo, straight up. But 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 yeah, straight up. I mean, fuck Lovecraft. But the people that wrote after him, I thought they did a much better job describing his creatures.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I watched Paths of Glory for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
Kubrick.
Yeah. I saw you watch that on the letterbox, and so I decided to also watch it for the first time as well.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah. I really really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4.5, and I know you gave it a 5, so not that much of a difference. And
I actually gave it a 4.5 first, and then I changed it.
Oh really?
I rewatched a couple scenes that I thought were really good, and I was like, yeah, this is excellent.
Mm-hmm. It's really incredible. The whole fucking movie, I'm just teeming with anger. Just so angry. Like those two old ass fucking general dudes played the
bro. Scarface looking motherfucker.
Oh my god, the perfect assholes.
That dude, bro.
And they just had me fucking steaming. And then it fucking ends, and I'm just like, ah! I'm so upset.
No. There's a few moments in that movie where I'm like wanting to scream at the TV. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. That movie was good though, man. Yeah. Kubrick was ahead of his motherfucking time, bro.
He made that fucking. He made that movie when he was 28. What? Oh my god! Like, how fucking impressive is that? Some of the camera work in this movie is just like unreal for its time, really, and just so influential. It's just really impressive.
Can't have a podcast without Nick's audio fucking up.
Of course. All right.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah, Pat. You were saying Path to Glory. I'm sorry.
No. I think his camera work in it is really just something to marvel at. That he made this movie at fucking 28 years old in 1957 is like just kind of fucking insane.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he made it when he was 28.
Yeah.
That makes sense though.
Yeah, it's crazy.
50s, 60s, whatever. But there's a specific shot where a general and one of the commanders, I forget his name, but it's Scarface Freak, and he's basically walking through the trenches, and the shot is so smooth and so it's very well. Shit, I
Choreographed.
can't even think of the word for it. I would no, I don't know. Say it was a very steady shot, which is like very hard for moving shots back then,
Hmm.
especially in like dirt trenches and shit. It
For
was very
sure.
impressive. I'm assuming it was probably a crane, but it was still really good.
Hmm. There was a
Um,
lot of a war movie that I really, really love, 1917, last year's 1917, which I think
yeah, I
is
was gonna,
a
yeah,
phenomenal fucking movie. It was cool seeing that first and watching Paths to Glory now and seeing all like how much influence 1917 drew from this
yeah,
movie.
absolutely. Yeah, I was gonna say Sam Mendes. I think he took a lot from this
Yeah,
movie,
absolutely.
um, in terms of directing. But yeah, Paths of Glory is very good. I want to watch. Have you seen The Killing? I want to see that.
I haven't. I haven't. I've only seen a handful of Kubrick movies. I've seen now Paths to Glory, Full Metal Jacket, The Shining, 2001, A Clockwork
Hmm.
Orange, um,
Have you
and
seen
Doctor
Lolita?
Strangelove.
I love Doctor Strangelove.
I
Have
think
you
those are
seen
that's
Lolita?
it. Nope.
Ooh, hard recommend. I love Lolita.
Hmm.
Kind of weird movie, but I like it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then I've seen everything that you just mentioned. Paths of Glory, and then I think that might be it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
definitely.
really want to see The
Yeah,
Killing.
I
I've
definitely
been trying to look
wanna.
for it.
I definitely wanna finish watching his discography for sure.
Hmm.
Maybe we can do a Kubrick episode someday.
That would be really fun. He doesn't have that many movies, so it would be easy.
Yep, true.
Um,
Anything else?
let's see. Other than that, in terms of movies, I think that's about it. Oh, I guess I'll give a shout out to The Favorite. I rewatched that again.
Oh
Um,
yes, dude. I
I
fucking
love The
love.
Favorite, man.
Oh, dude, that movie's so
Yeah,
fucking good. I'm
you
a
just creamed
yeah,
your pants, didn't you?
dude.
Jesus
I
Christ, Jacob.
absolutely did. I. Oh, Emma
I love The
Stone.
Favorite, though.
Oh, those fish eye
See,
lenses. Oh.
the, wait, what was that movie that I just saw? Yeah, it was that. It was. I was like, why is there a fisheye lens? And
Dude,
I'm
there's
like,
a ton
oh,
of fisheye lenses in the favorite. It's fucking
yeah.
awesome.
Uh, uh,
I
it's
love it.
interesting.
I love it.
Yeah,
Have
it's
you
definitely unique.
have you seen any
And I
other
think it's just
Yorgos Lanthimos movies?
I've seen all of his movies. Well, no, I've seen his most recent. Like I've seen Lobster and I've seen Killing of a Sacred Deer. I did a weird order though. I watched Killing of the Sacred Deer. I watched The Favorite, and then I watched The Lobster.
Really? I
That's the order.
watched
Yeah.
in the release that they came out. I watched The Lobster like
Okay.
practically right when it came out, and same with Killing of Sacred
Yeah.
Deer, and same with Favorite. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a
I
really
bought Killing of a Sacred
yeah.
Deer on Blu-ray, and that's how I first got into him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. Love his fucking work. I really need to watch Dogtooth. That's the other like big one of
Oh, I haven't
in
seen
his
that yet.
discography. That I
This
see a lot
movie,
of talk about.
The Favorite, like I got a couple things to say about The Favorite.
Hmm.
Uh, feels like this movie. Have you ever seen? Another Kubrick movie. I forgot to mention, but Barry Lyndon.
No, I haven't. I really need to.
If you like The Favorite, watch Barry Lyndon. I'm gonna rewatch Barry Lyndon. I haven't seen it in a while,
Hmm.
but a lot of The Favorite reminded me of Barry Lyndon,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, I've
like
seen
in
all
general,
those, those really classic shots of Barry Lyndon, shit like that,
high key recommend anyone to watch that because I think both are very good.
hmm.
Um, Barry Lyndon's a little bit long, and but like I
It's
don't
fine.
know, it's good.
Yeah.
It's very good. Let's see. Last thing I watched this week was a TV show called Queen's Gambit.
Oh, yeah, I
I
heard
actually
about that.
just started it. I haven't
New
finished it,
show on
but I'm like on
Netflix, right?
episode 4. What's that?
New Netflix show, right?
New Netflix show. My love of my life, Anya Taylor Joy.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
why isn't she my girlfriend? Um,
Please marry me, Anya Taylor Joy. If you're watching this
please
podcast, I
marry
know
me,
you
Anya
are.
Taylor Joy. I Jacob, I almost went to go see New Mutants just for her. I almost did. I almost went to go risk my life to go watch New Mutants in a theater. just because of Anya Taylor Joy.
Oh my god.
I'll do anything
Understandably,
for my queen.
understandably. Uh,
I I'm a simp. Okay. Uh,
Sim's got a simp, man.
Simp's got a simp. Simp life ain't easy. Okay.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I
It,
understand.
it really,
I'm a big time
it
simp.
really ain't. Uh, but fuck the Queen Gambit. I can't say too much about it because I've just started, and
Hmm.
but it's so far it's excellent.
Yeah.
It's if you don't know the premise of it, it's about chess, but this basically child prodigy, and Anya Taylor Joy is basically like a chess prodigy, and when she's like 12 years old, she's beating all these like grandmasters and shit. And there's one specific scene that's very I'm not gonna spoil it,
Hmm.
but it's a scene where she's like 15 years old and she's playing with like the high school like chess team, like and it's all men at the time. They're all like seniors and they're all like hella good apparently. And you know that like what's it called, like a horseshoe shaped setup that they have with chess players, and they have like one person playing like 15 people at the same time.
I've never seen that, but that sounds cool.
Oh, it's a thing that a lot of like GMs do apparently. They play like
Interesting.
15 people at the same time.
That sounds fucking
And
rad. But yeah.
so the scene starts off with her like super intimidated by all these like nerdy ass chess players, and like the top chess players like staring her down, and then the scene and she immediately starts playing them, and then like in her mind like you get like inner dialogue, and she's like, the thing that surprised me about them was how terrible they were. like
That's funny.
just to give you a gist of how like funny and like how smart this character is. Yeah, so far I'm only 4 episodes in, but it's really good. It's shot extremely well. I just want to eat every frame of this movie. Not movie, this show. It's shot extremely well, man. Like Jesus Christ. Um,
Right on.
and yeah, not too much I could say about it. I'll probably update you when I finish it.
Sounds
Hopefully,
good.
maybe next
Yeah.
time.
Maybe I'll start it sometime. Sounds interesting.
But that is all I have seen this week. What have you seen?
Right on, right on. I've been watching quite a lot this past while. First off, I started watching Uncle Boonmi, Who Can Recall His Past Lives. It is a Taiwanese movie, I believe. I'm really sorry if I got the country wrong where it's from. I don't really want to try and pronounce the director's name, but I think the last name is We're Ascetical, I think is how you pronounce it. But this movie is
Uh,
fucking awesome. It's really good. It's super fucking slow. It's very confusing at times, for fucking sure. But once it kind of got around to the end and I was kind of starting to realize what it all meant, it really kind of started to blow my mind, really. And the thing that's so incredible about it is even though I was pretty confused about like the connection from scene to scene, basically, like what was really trying to be conveyed, the tone that it sets you in with just these beautiful landscape shots and such is just unreal. It really just puts you in the perfect mood that it wants you to be. And it's just an absolutely just beautiful movie, all about, death and such like that, and death over generations, and how it affects families and such like that. And there's some weird fucking shit in it. There's some really weird scenes in this movie. But it's just absolutely gorgeous. Highly, highly recommend this movie. I definitely want to check it out again. And I'm sure on rewatches it'll probably end up going higher on my ranking once I start to kind of understand this movie a little bit more because it's kind of a puzzle. But
where'd you see it?
I watched it on Criterion Channel alongside,
Nice.
a lot of shit that I watch, to be honest. But after that, I this and the next two movies I'll watch back to back to back. After that, I watched Modern Romance, which is an Albert Brooks comedy of sorts. It Oh my god, this movie's really good. It's really, really well written and acted, but it put me in the worst fucking mood. This movie just like killed my emotion because it's that type of movie of like a Woody Allen-esque type movie where it's following like a really
Ugh.
toxic male character, and the joke is kind of, observing them and just like laughing at their absurdity and kind of how horrible they are. um but like the thing that put me in such a bad mood is watching the female character in it get so wrapped up in his life and ending up basically ruining so many things in her life and her choices due to this guy. Watching that, I fucking oh, it put me in a very bad mood of just how fucking shitty it was. But it's just like perfect script. The script is really just incredible, and the performance from the lead, Albert Brooks doesn't fucking play the lead. Wait, no, yes he does. I'm just lying to you. Albert Brooks, he directs it, and he wrote, and starred in it. And he does a great job in all three of them. Really, definitely a great movie. But yeah, just really put me in a horrible mood. So after that, I needed something to pick me up. I'm like, what's always gonna put me in a good mood? Usually, I gotta watch a Jim Jarmusch movie, of course.
Oh,
I've been talking about
of
Jim
course you do.
Jarmusch a lot on this podcast. I'm like, all right, I'm finally gonna watch Patterson. Patterson is the 2016
Oh,
Jim Jarmusch movie with Adam Driver on Amazon Prime.
yeah.
Oh, I loved this movie so much. Oh my god. This is a new favorite comfort movie of mine, absolutely. It just follows this guy in a week in his life. He's a bus driver. He wakes up, he goes to work, he writes some poems, he goes home, eats dinner with his wife, goes on a walk with his dog, and goes sits down at the pub. Reset. It's just viewing his life, and slight variances in it, and obviously there is a little bit of like a through point of like some slight conflict that happens throughout to make it not just like him literally doing nothing. But this movie is just so beautiful and incredible, and it really just put me in the perfect mood of just the feeling of how life goes on. And
Mhm.
that's a really great thing that I always love in movies. When they explore that type of theme and that ideal, is something that always really puts me at comfort, really.
Mm.
And there's a lot of great little details throughout. It's a really interesting movie that you can really dive into all the tiny details throughout it, and how they connect and what they mean thematically and stuff like that. It's just a super rich, detail-oriented movie. One of the really funny little gags in it, because there's a lot of times of it's just like him listening to people on the bus or whatever, and so it's just kind of seeing these interesting people. And there's this one part where the two kids from Moonrise Kingdom are on the bus talking, and they're obviously older now. They're probably like in their 20s or something like that. But it was kind of like a further away shot. I'm like, is that the girl from Moonrise Kingdom? And then it cuts to the guy. I'm like, holy shit, wait, it's the guy from Moonrise Kingdom too. I'm like, there's no way that's not intentional. Like that's got to be some sort of intentional joke, especially because the kid, the guy, he's acted in basically like nothing else besides Moonrise Kingdom. So I don't know why he did that, but I just thought that was hilarious,
Interesting.
and I really loved to see that. Obviously, just because Moonrise Kingdom's like my favorite movie. That was a part that really got a great laugh out of me. But yeah, just really, really nice, really good, beautiful movie. Highly
Mm.
recommend Patterson. That's on Amazon Prime.
I I haven't seen Patterson, but I remember that movie specifically. That and what is it? Fucking the Harry Potter movie. What should we call it? The wizard
Fantastic
one
Beasts.
from I don't know. Oh yeah, Fantastic Beasts. That one. Um, I remember specifically Patterson and that movie, because that was the weekend I got hired at the theater, and
Oh,
those movies
nice.
came out the same on the same Thursday. And I never saw Patterson, but I remember it specifically for that. And
Yeah.
I definitely need to check it out.
Yeah,
Sounds very
I
good.
loved it. I don't know whether that or Broken Flowers is my favorite Jarmusch movie yet. but it's definitely in my top 2 of him. You know, fuck, this guy can't go wrong. Besides, this movie that he made last year that I heard is terrible, but I'll watch that some other time. Well, we don't talk about
That's on Prime, I think.
Patterson or the
No,
one on The Dead Don't Die. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll watch it eventually, but I heard that movie's really shitty, so I'm not really rushing to see it. I gotta be honest. But
Yeah.
everything else that I've seen of Jarmusch, I've absolutely loved. So we'll see. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Next thing I caught was Ivan's Childhood. It's an Andrei Tarkovsky Soviet War movie. Came out in 1962, and similar to Come and See, a movie I talked about a few weeks ago. It's a movie that really follows a child's perspective through the war. And this movie is just fucking brutal. Really, really brutal. It's really slow, and I definitely felt the length a lot. Which is hard to say because it's a 95-minute movie. It's not long at all, but it felt really long. So that was kind of a deficit to it. But there's a lot of, it's in black and white, just great, really great black and white cinematography and some stellar performances. The lead character, Ivan, just a really, really impressive child performance. And yeah, the ending of this movie really just fucking, it's just a huge fucking gut punch. So yeah, if you like depressing war movies, which most of them are, I definitely recommend Ivan's Childhood. I didn't like it as much
If
as...
you like depressing war movies. Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Nothing like sparking up a joint and watching a good old Schindler's List.
Yeah, yes, sir. After that, I caught Beau Travel, or Beau Travail. It's a Claire Denis movie. Came out in 1999. Ooh. This is also kind of a war movie. I bought this. This is a blind buy I got from the Criterion Flash sale that happened a little while back. And so I was excited to watch this when it came in the mail. It's pretty awesome. It's really confusing though, in the way of, it's a pretty straightforward story, but it's all told through looks and landscape shots. And visually, this movie is unfucking real. It is so beautiful. These desert landscapes and this bright, shining blue sky is just so incredible to look at. But the thing that really took a slight to the movie for me was the whole thing is it's a central conflict between two. It's a gay movie, and it's about between like three characters. It's like one guy's in love with one, and then that guy starts to get the attention from that guy, and so this guy gets jealous of him, and I honestly didn't understand that because the judgment of like why the guy was jealous, I thought was a little bit poorly done. It was pretty confusing in that, and quite a few like character motivations just didn't make too much sense because there's like no dialogue in this movie. It's all told through just like, quick glances and looks and such like that. And it's definitely effective to a point. And I still enjoyed a lot of it. The camera work and visuals and some of the performances was enough to keep me engaged throughout. But I honestly, until the end, until I was reading the thing in the Criterion booklet thingy that it came with, I was like, okay, I thought it was a gay movie, but I honestly couldn't tell. I honestly didn't even realize because of how unclear it was through certain characters' motivations and shit like that. So I want to revisit it. What was that?
Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh, I was just saying, was this the cover that looked like a Brockhampton album?
Yeah, that one.
Okay. I could have told you it was gay just looking at it, bro.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. Even like, I'm obviously usually pretty good at picking up on that,
Yeah, your gaydar was off.
Exactly.
Bro.
I don't know how my gaydar was so off in this movie, but I think it really just stemmed from like I thought it was, But then like when the jealousy aspect started to come into play, I just didn't see that. Like the gay connection between like the two main characters, I understood, but then once that third character came in, his like connection to it at all, I did not see at all, you know. And so that's when I started to get really confused and like, okay, maybe I was wrong. I
Uh,
don't know, but I really want to revisit it because of just how visually stunning it was.
the gauge triangle.
Yeah, but it's definitely an interesting movie, and I want to revisit it for sure. After that, I
Quick,
caught what?
I was just saying, quick heads up, you're frozen for me, but it's
Oh,
okay. I can still hear you. It's okay.
doesn't matter because I'm not frozen on my screen, and I'm the one who's
Yeah,
recording.
I was gonna say, as long as you're getting
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
footage, it's good.
cool. Anyway, after that, I caught Big Hero 6. Um, I don't got
Hell
too
yeah.
much to say about Big Hero 6. I fucking love this movie though. I really love Big Hero 6. I haven't seen it since I first saw it in theaters, and so I was kind of as scared it wouldn't hold up as well. But I'm a really big fan of this movie. It really just comes down to all of the characters are really well written and well fleshed out, and just such interesting uh, fully realized characters that I think is just a really awesome treat to watch. And the relationship between Hero and Baymax is just fucking hilarious and beautiful. And I still cried during that one scene near the end. Um, yeah, I just think it's a really kick ass movie. I love superhero movies. The designs of all of their costumes are really fucking sick. The animation is just beautiful. The movie really flies by. It's really well paced,
Awesome.
really well made. Just super fun, enjoyable movie. I think. Big fan of that movie.
Did they?
Big fan of Big Hero
I kind of
6.
forgot. Were there other like superheroes in that movie?
Yeah. It's all of the friends of like his older brothers, friends.
Oh,
They
that's
Hero
right.
like makes
They like.
costumes for all of them, and then they
That's
like
right.
fight the bad guy, you know. And all of their costumes and
Damn.
powers are fucking sick and really cool, and just like really well designed.
Shazam ripped that off.
Yeah. I'm sure Big
Jeez.
Hero 6 didn't start that, but
I'm, I'm,
well,
I'm
that was
calling Warner Brothers.
yeah. Oh God. Anyway, after that, I caught Election.
Expect your check in the mail.
I caught Election as a 1999
Oh, I
comedy.
fucking love Election, bro.
Election is awesome. I don't want to say too much on it. Go check out my closet quickie about it. Hey, getting back to doing closet quickies. I'm gonna be on that schedule now.
Hell yeah.
Now that this podcast is officially a bi-weekly podcast, I'm gonna be trying to do a closet quickie, and then closet quickie podcast. So every week I'll either have one or the other coming out. So expect a lot more of them. I'll be having another one come out next week. After this podcast is posted, hopefully sometime tomorrow. Um, so yeah, Election, great movie. Really enjoyed that. I'll try and kind of fly by some of these last ones since should probably move on to their topic sometime soon. I watched Certain Woman. It's a Kelly Reichardt movie. It's the third Kelly Reichardt movie I've seen after First Cow, which was my second favorite movie of the year so far. Still absolutely love that movie. And Wendy and Lucy, also loved that movie. And Certain Woman is absolutely no exception. This movie is fucking incredible. Three just stellar performances from all the leads of Laura Dern, Michelle Williams, and Lily Gladstone. And I give a shout out to Kristen Bell as well, because Kristen Bell also is kind of a lead in the three stories, because it's kind of like an anthology thing. And she's in the third story. But that third story, I thought it was going to be about, or not Kristen Bell, Kristen Stewart, sorry. Kristen Stewart.
Oh,
She does a great job. I thought it was gonna be mainly absolutely different. Just got the name mixed
that's
up.
so funny.
But Lily Gladstone gives one of my favorite performances like ever. It was really mind blowing the shit that she portrayed in this movie, and it's really just a movie about loneliness and women and how they deal with it, and all through the different aspects. And it's just heartbreaking and beautiful, and I was just fucking in tears at the end of it. Um, yeah, man. I love Kelly Reichardt's how she films. You know, her movies are very
Mm.
slow paced. Definitely not for everyone. Lots of landscape shots and such, but her filmmaking really fucking works for me. And I'm a big fan of hers. I'm so excited to keep watching more of her shit. I think there's like three more I need to get through to finish her discography. And I'm excited. I really love this movie. After that, I caught Ghost Stories, 2017 movie with Martin Freeman in it.
Oh,
It's like a
I've heard
ghost
of this.
story anthology type of thing as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. There's a big twist that happens near the end, and that ruins the movie for a lot of people that I've seen. But I actually thought it worked really well and really added a lot to the movie and tied together all the stories in a really interesting way and made it for a really emotionally impactful ending, I thought. Um, and I thought it was just really well written and just really enjoyable movie. The main kid from the end of the fucking world is in one of the stories, and he is
Oh, that fucking
absolutely
dude.
the standout in this movie performance wise. His segment is fucking crazy and just so goddamn good. He's just perfect in it. Yeah, caught
Did
that
you
on.
ever watch the second season of that show?
No, I really wanted to. I don't. I just
I
haven't. I loved the first season.
I feel like yeah, I need to watch it. I think I'm gonna rewatch the first season and then watch
Yeah,
it. But
I agree.
'cause I
I
love the original
I
series.
should
It
do
was
that
really,
as
I
well.
watched that in fucking high school, bro.
Yeah, man.
That was
Yeah,
a long time ago.
yeah. That came out like 2015, 2016. I don't know.
I'm gonna say 2016, yeah,
Yeah.
2017 maybe,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Sometime then, but yeah.
2018
Um.
maybe,
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah. 2020.
It
I
was a
don't
few
know.
months. It was a few
2021.
months ago, I think.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
just came out actually.
yeah,
Uh,
it came out last week.
yeah. Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
that movie was fucking fun. And then I caught Antoine and Colette. It's a French short film by Francois Truffaut. It features the main character from the 400 Blows, his very first movie that he did, which is a fucking masterpiece. I'm a really big fan of that movie, and this movie was really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't have too much to say about it besides it was just a pretty enjoyable experience. It was like 30 minutes long. Um, and there's it's the 400 blows. This is which is a short, and then I think I can't remember the names of them, but I think in two or three other movies, Truffaut did after follows the same character portrayed by the same actor, you know, through his life. And so I'm really excited to just check out the rest of the movies where it follows his character and to see this character's development because he's just so interesting. Um, and Timothy Chalamet really owes a lot to this guy. Based on just how this guy acts. His name, Jean Pierre Lode. His acting, especially in Antoine and Colette. My boy Timmy definitely owes a lot to him with his looks and everything that he does in it. Um, he's great, and I definitely really enjoyed that. After that, I caught Platoon finally. Have you seen Platoon?
Yeah, I've seen Platoon.
I finally watched Platoon, very famous
Finally,
anti-war Vietnam movie. It's a very famous movie, so I was like, you know, I gotta watch it eventually. I fucking hated this
yeah,
movie. This movie sucks.
yeah.
It's
The movie's
horrible.
terrible. I
It's
don't know why people
so
like
bad.
it.
I don't get why people like this movie. I'm so glad that you shared the opinion. This movie
Oh,
fucking
oh,
sucks, bro. Oh my god. The writing is just so absurdly fucking bad in each of the characters. Every single character besides Elias, William Defoe's character, are just horrible, horrible people, completely irredeemable. And the movie's like, please feel bad for them, please. And it's like, no, I'm not going to feel bad for them. They're all horrible people continually doing
yeah.
horrible, disgusting things. Like, this movie just fucking sucks. And sorry, spoilers, once Elias gets killed about halfway through the movie, I'm like, I lose all interest in this movie. And I just could not wait for it to be over. Fuck Platoon.
Yeah, no.
That movie's really trash. didn't.
I remember my history teacher showed me a few scenes of this movie, like showed the class,
Hmm,
and I checked out the movie afterwards, and I was like, Jesus, this is not fun to watch.
yeah.
Uh,
There's a scene in the movie that like traumatized me when I was younger because my brother was watching
which
it,
one?
and so I caught part of it. It's the scene with Charlie Sheen's character and then Bunny when they're tormenting that dude without the leg, you know? They're like torturing that dude
Oh my
basically. That
god.
fucking scene really messed me up as a
Yeah.
kid. I that scene like actually fucking scarred me. And then watching that scene again, it's a super fucked up scene. And then later on, it's like, feel bad for Charlie Sheen's character. I'm like, fuck that guy. I hate
No.
him. No. Like, all these people are
People.
completely irredeemable, horrible. Like,
No.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
No.
Platoon. Really did not enjoy that movie, really, in any
A lot.
capacity.
A lot of people assume that Charlie Sheen did that because his dad did Apocalypse Now,
Yeah,
and
dude,
that he
it's
just wanted to try to get like his own war movie. Like,
absolutely.
but
No, it totally is. And it's just, like, the way fucking worse
his
version
own
of
Vietnam
Apocalypse
movie, I
Now.
guess.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, Apocalypse Now is great. I love Apocalypse Now. Um,
Same.
and then Martin Sheen gives just a mind blowing performance in that movie. And then Charlie Sheen gives just one of the most dog shit, lazy, like just stupidest performances I've ever
Uninteresting. Yeah.
seen. And I don't care about Charlie Sheen in any capacity anyway. I wasn't really expecting anything from him, but I thought maybe it'd be good for how highly regarded this movie is. Um, but no, this movie really fucking sucks. It's trash. And then the last two things I caught Shame. It's a fucking Ingmar Bergman movie, war
Hmm.
movie. Just as is with most war movies, just really depressing. It follows a couple and how they're affected, their relationship and their love is affected through the Swedish Civil War that's going on, and it's just
Wait, the
so
Swedes
goddamn.
had a civil war?
Yes, of course. Everywhere
I
has
had
had a
no.
civil war, probably. Like every
Bro.
fucking place has. And yeah, this movie, I think it really goes into some interesting themes that I haven't seen too much. Where it's the idea of like they really blur the lines on what side they're on and what sides anybody's on. Like you really can't tell. Like when soldiers are coming up, you constantly see soldiers from both different sides of the war, and like you can never tell like who's
Interesting.
who really. And it really just
Hmm.
goes into the aspect about like how no side really is right. Like it's all just really fucked up, and you really get to see how it affects these families and such. Um, and yeah, it's just really depressing and really, really beautiful. Ingmar Bergman makes really depressing movies in general. I've only seen three of his
Hmm.
so far, including this, and this might be the most depressing one, which is a feat to
Hmm.
hold for sure. But Shame, I
For
definitely
sure.
really, really enjoyed it though. It features Max von Sydow and Liv Ullmann, which are two actors who are constantly throughout Bergman's filmography. And the two others that I've seen from him, The Seventh Seal and Persona, both of those people, respectively, Max von Sydow and Seventh Seal, and Liv Ullmann and Persona, are both like the stars in both of them, and then they're both the couple stars in this movie. And I thought that was really great, just seeing both of them on screen. Bergman always brings out just such incredible performances out of them, and they're both just really beautiful, really incredible actors. Um, and yeah, I'm really excited to dive deeper into Bergman's filmography because I'm just fucking loving this guy. This shit's great. And the last thing I wanted to mention was The Deer Hunter. I finally caught The Deer Hunter 1978 movie with Robert De Niro and Christopher Walken, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked this movie. I didn't think
Young
this movie.
Meryl Streep.
I didn't. Yeah, young Meryl Streep. Got John Cazale in it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right, but
I think you're pronouncing it correct. Yeah.
shout out him. This man's fucking starred in 8 movies in his career, and every single one of them got nominated for Best Picture. and then he tragically died. I don't know, he was probably in like his 40s or something like that. Died way too young, had an incredible career, and he gives a great performance in this movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed Deer Hunter. I didn't feel its length. I thought it was incredibly well paced, and how it showed the first half and how it related to the second half, and just showing the dynamics of that and how it affected, not how the war not only affected these people who were there physically, but also all of their friends and family back home, was something that was really portrayed in just such an honest and deeply disturbing, sad way. Um, there were just a few key moments in it. I don't want to go too much into it, but some really key moments that happened in the movie, like defining scenes that I thought were kind of poorly written, not super well developed, and that kind of took away the emotional impact of the ending of this movie for me a lot, which kind of made me a little upset, you know. But that didn't detract it too much, because of how great so much of the rest of the movie is, and how well written a lot of the rest of it is. Um, I just, yeah, it's definitely a very hard to watch movie, but I found it incredibly enjoyable and just very well paced. Any movie that can be 2.5 hours or longer, this movie's 3 hours, but and you don't feel that length, is always just an incredible feat. So yeah, really fucking enjoyed Deer Hunter for sure.
Hell yeah.
Oh, long-winded,
Noise.
but that's it though. That's gonna be it for the what we've been watching section. That took very long, but that's okay. We got lots of shit to talk about. Nick's falling asleep, but you know what? That was the main reason I started this podcast, was honestly because of that section. Because I just wanna bring up all the movies that I've been watching and shout them out, whether good or bad. So hopefully you guys check out some of those ones. If they piqued your interest when I was talking about them. And yeah. Anyway, we will move on into our topic of the week. Finally, it is our top
Holy
three.
Shit, I forgot about the top of the week.
Topic of the week, boys. We'll kind of try and blow past this too much. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, as per usual, the topic of the week, we're going to try and not give away spoilers with these movies. So we'll just kind of give our general thoughts on each of them and why they are our personal top 3 favorite war movies. But anyway, without further ado, we'll fucking get right into it. Nick, you want to start with your third favorite war movie and why?
My third favorite horror movie is Hostel. No. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna start off by saying I'm not a big fan of very many American war movies.
Same here.
But I decided to go with some like really good shit, but I decided to go with what I enjoy watching. So
yeah, of course.
My first one I put on is a recent movie called Overlord.
Oh, nice. Yes, dude.
J.J. Abrams produced. Have you seen Overlord?
Yes, I love Overlord.
Okay.
I caught this movie in IMAX. This movie is crazy.
Oh, you caught it in IMAX?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's sick. Wow.
It was such an experience.
So Overlord, if you don't know Overlord was the mission before D-Day. It was basically when America just dumped a bunch of paratroopers onto like France and when Germany was occupying it, and basically the movie starts off with the Overlord troops being sent out, and it starts off with this really amazing first scene that's incredibly intense. It looks fantastic. It's probably the most CGI that's probably in the movies in this scene, but it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
And basically, not everybody that jumped off the plane made it. Only a couple handful, and this handful are basically their mission is to take over like this fortified church, and to like destroy basically communications for the Germans, and to infiltrate it. So they were sticking to this plan. and they were on their way there, and they got basically interrupted by uh, a lady that lived in that town who is uh, basically invited. Well, it was more like they were like, "We need your house," and basically she's holding them, um, the Americans there, so they can what should we call it? They can pursue their mission, and basically the Germans that are occupying this town are harassing like all the citizens, and they also take citizens and do experiments on them in this castle. And I won't go
So
too
yeah, I
far
was gonna
into it,
say yeah,
but
you're going a
uh,
little, you're tiptoeing pretty close on that line, but
I won't go too far into it. But I will say, in terms of horror, in terms of action, this movie is really, really excellent. This was a studio fucking movie that came from Paramount,
yeah.
so honestly, super impressive how how well this turned out.
Hmm. It's a
Um,
really daring
it started,
movie for being a high budget studio movie, you know.
yeah, absolutely. It stars Wyatt Russell, who is
Kurt
Kurt
Russell's
Russell's son,
son, shout out.
uh, and the main character is Hovan Adepo, who I haven't seen him too much. I do know the French dude, the Italian dude in this movie, John Magro, though. He's been in a few things
Yeah,
I've seen.
fucking
Um,
star of First Cow.
yep.
Yeah, yeah, shout
Um,
out. He's
and
great.
then you might also know Bokeem Woodbine, underrated actor if you ask me.
Oh, I don't
Also in
recognize the
Overlord,
name.
a very underrated actor. He's been in a few things, and I know he's been in things you've seen before, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll recognize. He looks like knockoff Dave Chappelle, honestly. But
Yeah, yeah. No, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
um, I won't get into too much, but it's a really good movie, and it is a war movie, so it counts.
Oh,
Um,
it does for sure. Yeah, you know, I definitely have a
and that was my
few
number
that
three.
might be a little loose on my list. Nice. Yeah, right on.
Actually, that's
Overlords. Fuck.
basically the theme of mine. Is like, except for like one, it's like fantasy movies,
Right on.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah. For my list, I kind of for each of them, I split it into three kind of categories and picked like my favorite of that type of war movie. And so for this one,
Oh, I like that.
I went with war movies that are 2.5 hours or longer slash like the war movie epics. You know,
Oh yeah.
a lot of great ones out there. Shout out Deer Hunter I watched earlier. Shout out Saving Private Ryan, which we'll be talking about later. Um, but the one I had to go for on this list is Lawrence of Arabia. I really love Lawrence of Arabia. This movie just fucking gets me going, dude. I've only seen this movie
Yeah.
once. This was back when I worked at Independent Theater, the Pix Theater in Albany. Shout out, really cool theater. Me and one of my other film buff friends who worked there, Harper. Sometimes me, him, and our boss Rod would stay late at night sometimes and watch classic movies on the big screen. And so we watched Lawrence of Arabia on the big screen.
Yeah.
And
Lucky
it
motherfucker.
was just mind blowing. This movie
It's a
is
beautiful movie.
just so incredibly beautiful. And something that I think was really understated in this movie with a lot of people is the humor. There's a lot of really great
Oh,
humor in
yes.
this movie. It is fucking hilarious sometimes. There is just some great humor in it. And Peter O'Toole, oh my god, he gives one of my favorite performances ever. The character of T.E. Lawrence is just such a rich, in-depth character because of like he's a really fucked up guy, honestly. He did a lot of really fucked up things, and they really do explore that in this movie. They don't make him out to be like this white savior type thing that I've seen some people kind of comment on about this movie, and I don't agree with that. I think they really do show the horrors of war and alongside the horrors of this man specifically and some of the horrible shit that he did, but alongside also some of the great things that he did. And I think they do a really good job at just portraying that and giving you all the info and kind of letting you make your own opinions about him and about what really happened. You know,
Mhm.
And it's just really a just incredibly captivating movie. And it's one of those movies, where it has that incredibly long runtime. I can't remember if it's 3 hours or 3.5 hours, but
I think it's 3:15, but yeah, it's
yeah,
long, and there's
uh,
extended versions of it too. There's
yeah, it's oh my god, I don't know if this is the official runtime actually, but on IMDb it says it's 3 hours and 50 minutes.
yeah.
I think
So
that is
that's
the
probably the extended version of it, but it's well over the original cut's well
yeah,
over
it's
3 hours.
well over 3, and it's perfect. I wouldn't cut anything out of it. I really think it's one of those perfect masterpieces. And I'm really
I
really big
agree.
fan of Lawrence Arabia. I just think it's an incredible movie, top to bottom, and has just some of my
Yeah,
favorite scenes in cinema. So yeah, Lawrence Arabia is definitely my favorite war epic lengthy movie for sure out there. Anyway, what's
I like the way you did your list.
yeah, thanks.
I'm excited to hear your other ones.
Yeah. What about you?
Uh,
What's your next one?
Number two,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going on with the fantasy again. Inglorious Bastards. I think everyone's seen this
Oh,
movie,
nice. Yes.
but
Okay. I wasn't really thinking
I
about that in the way of fantasy, but you're totally right. It is.
oh this is 100%. This is I think Once Upon a Time is Tarantino's second only fantasy, but
Only
yeah, I
fans.
would say this
Tarantino's.
definitely fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah. Once
Um.
Upon a Time is definitely Tarantino's only fans movie with all the feet shots that he fucking includes in that movie. But
Yeah. Okay. So I rewatched it and it didn't bother me that much, but there was two that bothered me specifically,
oh, dude,
and
I
it was
yeah I
when Margot Robbie had her feet up in the theater, and
yes.
it was when
And then
Pete
the car
Davidson's
scene.
girlfriend, yeah, that's what's her face, Margaret Qualley,
Yeah,
whatever,
Margaret
had her
Qualley.
feet, and I was like,
Yeah.
dirty ass feet. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, no. I did rewatch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood earlier this year, and I enjoyed it a lot more than the first time I watched it. But no, all the feet shit
I like that
definitely.
movie. I like that movie more every time I watch it. I've seen it like
Yeah.
5 times
I
right
still have
since it
some
came out.
very very clear issues with that movie that I don't think I'll ever budge on. But anyway, we're not talking about that
Sure.
movie. Inglorious Bastards.
Oh yeah, Glorious Bastards. This is I can't say too much about it. Everyone's watched this movie, but first of all, performances. What Tarantino was able to get out of these actors is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Dialogue's fantastic. Um, Brad Pitt's accent is one of my favorites of all time. Um,
Absolutely.
the way he says Nazi is
Nancy. Yeah.
Nancy.
Give me 100
It's
Nancy
amazing.
scalps. Yeah.
The specific scene where he's with Eli Roth and the other little dude, and they're talking to Londa in the
Yeah.
uh,
In the
like
theater.
the lobby, yeah, and he's like speaking to him in Italian,
Gorlami.
and, and he's like, what does he say? Arrivederci.
Yeah, Arrivederci. Yeah, there. Yeah, he does
Arrivederci.
yeah, Brad Pitt's
Hola.
great in this movie.
It's amazing.
And obviously,
Um,
undeniable, that first scene is one of my favorite first scenes in cinema. Period. That first scene
it's one of the
is just mind blowing.
it's one of the scariest scenes in cinema, man. Like in
Absolutely.
terms of just like like suspense and the tense uh, conversation between Londa and that cow farmer
hmm
is something you don't see on screen very often, especially the way you start a movie like that. But I can't say too much. I'm not even going to describe the movie because everyone's seen it, but that's my number two. So
Yeah,
oh
right
yeah,
on. Inglorious Bastards, huge shout out to that movie. That movie's fucking awesome. So good. But for my list, number two. So on this one, I wanted to go about the more interpersonal dramas in war movies, the ones where it mainly focuses either on a couple in a war movie or really just about how war affects more so the people. Typically, these movies don't really have any war scenes in them. It's typically the backdrop for the movie, and it just deals with some really heavy war themes in it. And it's really just like how it affected these people. And there's a lot of great ones in this. But what I had to go with is 2018's Cold War. This movie is by Paweł Pawlowski, I think is called how you pronounce his name. And yeah, I'm obsessed with this movie. I remember just absolutely, yeah, black and white, 4:3 aspect ratio,
I remember
super claustrophobic, super. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I remember watching it.
I'm a huge fan of this movie, specifically in the way that it uses music in this movie. There's quite a few sequences of just sitting there, like almost like half this movie is just sitting there observing them perform songs and music and watching how that music progresses throughout the movie and what it means to these characters is just so impressive. And I think this movie on a technical level is absolutely perfect. Visually, it might be, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's obviously super hard to say, but it might be one of my favorite black and white movies ever on a visual level. There are so many shots in this movie that just really blow my mind away consistently. And I think it's just so incredible. And the performances from the two leads are great. What are their fucking names? The woman who's in it, she plays one of the women in The Eddie, the show that came out earlier this year by Damien Chazelle. Love that show. She's in that as well. And she's just
Chazelle made that show.
Yeah, he produced that show and he directed the first episode. He produced it and he directed the first episode. But yeah, Joanna Kulig, shout out to her. She's great. And also Thomas Kott, that's the two leads in this movie. They are incredible and their chemistry is just perfect. It's just such a fucking heart-wrenching movie. And it's incredible because it's only an hour and 28 minutes. And it chronicles this love that casts over 20 years, I believe. And there's honestly, like, it really just cuts out the fat. Like, it really just shows you the beats in the relationship. It doesn't show you, like, how they fell in love. It doesn't show you, like, some of the fluff in it. It's really just, like, boom, 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 like, constant time jumps forward. And it's really just showing these key moments in this relationship. And I think it does it just absolutely perfectly. And clarity-wise, like, I don't think it's hard to follow really at all, which I think is impressive with how short of a time span the movie is, but how long of a time frame it explores. It's just really a technical masterpiece, and I think it really just blows me away. And I love the love in it. I love the music. It's great. I really love Cold War. I caught this on Amazon Prime. I just rewatched it a few days ago just to make sure, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking love this movie. This movie's great.
Right on.
Yeah. That's mine though. That's my number 2. What about you? You're on your last one now. You're number 1.
So my number 1. Yeah, so I was my realistically my number 1 would probably be Full Metal Jacket. I love that movie to death. I love the first half of that movie like it's my goddamn son. And then the second half is really good too, but it's definitely different. And I almost put Braveheart there because I love Braveheart, and it's in my opinion one of the best war movies of all time. But when I rewatched The Favorite, I realized
it is.
1, it's a war movie.
Yes, it is. You're right. Oh.
2, it's fantasy.
Yeah.
But well, kind of fantasy.
No, it totally does. It's as much fantasy as Inglourious Bastards is fantasy, I'd say.
I would say so.
In the way of rewriting history, you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, actually, all right, yeah, that's an amazing example. So I decided to go with The Favorite.
Nice.
Because
that's
not
awesome.
only is the war happening in the tertiary plot of the movie, but the war is happening between the two leads in this, or 2 of the leads in this movie, Sarah and Abigail. played by Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz, are basically in war. I mean, uh, at first it's cordial, and um, they're cousins, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's how she got that job there. And they're cordial with each other. Sarah's a little bit kind of, a little bit snooty and kind of bit up her own ass. But eventually, a Emma Stone's character, Abigail, basically finds a connection with the Queen, played by Olivia Colman, who's amazing in
Mm-hmm.
this. Uh, basically, gets under her spell, and they're basically fighting in a war to become like the Queen's second in command almost. Uh, I mean, it feels very petty because Emma Stone's character doesn't really feel like she's trying to get Olivia Colman's second hand in command. She's more like just trying to make Rachel Weisz's character
Yeah.
upset,
I really like
basically.
how the movie makes you like feel for Emma Stone's character. At first, you're like, oh, I feel really bad for her about how she's being treated and stuff like that. And I kind of want her to succeed. And then you start to see like kind of how fucked up she really is, and it's like, oh, I don't like this.
Oh, really? I loved her, even though the fucked up shit she did. I was like, yes, yes. And then, like at the end, I'm like, well, I mean, it's your consequences. This is what you wanted, I guess. So,
That the
and
final shot
I
of
thought,
the favorite is, oh my god, that
it's
final
excellent.
shot
It's
with
excellent.
her just like fucking just depressed face with the fucking rabbits superimposed over top is seriously just some mind-blowing filmmaking and just
Really good.
incredible.
So I got to give it to the favorite, man. That was
Yeah,
my
dude,
number one.
nice.
Uh,
Huge fucking
yeah.
shot. Yeah, dude, I love the favorite. I'm really glad. Nice fucking list. Uh, I
Thank you.
I'm really glad you pulled that one out. That was a great
Yeah,
fucking
I
movie.
wanted to. I was debating on whether I should go like ham and go crazy with like some pretentious shit, but like I felt like war movies aren't very fun in general. Even like the ones that are perceived as like really good, I don't really enjoy. I almost put War Horse on there, for the memes. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah, man,
nice.
that's my list. So,
Right on, right
what's your
on.
number one?
Yeah, my number one. So this one, I wanted to go with the genre-bending horror war movies, the ones that really take the war movie and take another really specific, defined genre and really perfectly mixes them. And no other movie has done it so perfectly and with such ease as Pan's Labyrinth does with war and fairy tales. Pan's Labyrinth
Ooh,
is just an absolute
ooh.
masterpiece of a movie. This was the second Guillermo del Toro movie I watched. Hellboy being the original, of course. I just being a big comic book fan originally when I was younger. But Pan's Labyrinth has been a family favorite of mine for a long time. Everyone in my family is really obsessed with this movie,
Oh,
and
same.
for right reason. I'm also equally obsessed with this movie, and it's still definitely my favorite Guillermo del Toro movie, which is hard to say because I'm a big fan of The Shape of Water. I fucking love that movie, but Pan's Labyrinth still takes the cake, and it's easily my favorite war movie of all time. Not only with how seamlessly and perfectly it mixes in the fairy tale elements and how it relates to the main themes of the movie as well, but there's some war movies, they gotta have that one like really brutal scene that really gets underneath your skin. And I don't think any war movie has really gotten underneath my skin like the one scene with the commander in the bottle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That scene just like, oh my god. And the fucking the guy with the eyes in his hands. Oh, so
Oh yeah, yeah.
terrifying. So good. there's just way too much fucking that's just
Shout out,
incredible
shout
about
out
this
Doug
movie.
Jones.
Shout out Doug Jones, bro. Oh my god. Incredible I don't know what costume worker. I don't know. He's a great actor. But like, you know, primarily his work in these elaborate costumes is so impressive, and it's like no other in this movie. The costumes are all just fucking top notch, incredible. The story is beautiful. I've always just been a sucker for fairy tales in general. Shout out, throwback to earlier, the script that I've been writing, and hopefully making this later. It's a fairy tale, and I definitely, you know, it's always been a genre that I love. And Pan's Labyrinth is no exception. This movie is just a perfect on every level for me, and yeah, easily my favorite horror movie of all time. And I fucking love Pan's Labyrinth so much. Endlessly rewatchable and endlessly depressing. So that's my list. I'll run it back down.
Would you put? Oh, where would you put Dunkirk?
So
I know you love Dunkirk.
Actually, I forgot to do this disclaimer. I forgot to do this earlier.
Disclaimer.
I Dunkirk probably would have been my number one, but I didn't want to include Dunkirk on this list because of how many times I've talked about it on the podcast. That's it. That's the only reason I didn't include it. So I still love you, Dunkirk. You're still my favorite. You know, you're my baby. But yeah, sorry. Thanks for reminding me. I totally just forgot. I wanted to make that disclaimer before we talk about this, but you know, whatever. It works out going out now. Yeah, I just didn't want to include Dunkirk just because how many times I've already gushed about it on the podcast. But you know, that's not a slight to any of these other three movies that I said. I still think all of these are all perfect, incredible movies that I love so dearly and so much. I'll run down my list one more time though. Pan's Labyrinth, Cold War, and Lawrence of Arabia. You want to run down yours one more time?
Overlord, Glorious Bastards, and Yorgos Lanthimos, The Favorite.
Right on. Anyway, check out all those movies. That's going to close out our topic of the week discussion for that. We're going to go into a little intermission break, and we'll be back with our in-depth spoiler thoughts on Saving Private Ryan. Stay tuned.
Word.
Hey guys, a little intermission. Just want to remind you to stick till the end of the episode if you want to hear what we're going to be talking about next show. This is officially a bi-weekly podcast now. It will be out in 2 weeks. And so stay until the end of this episode if you want to join in on the conversation and DM in response to the topic or the review. And also, I just want to give a huge shout out to Anchor. As always, Anchor, I really couldn't do this podcast without them. They're a free, easy-to-use website that will distribute your podcast on anything out there. It's also really good to record and edit podcasts as well. It's very, very easy to use. And so huge shout outs to Anchor. I really appreciate them. And thanks for listening. All right, what's up, guys? We are back, and we are gonna go into our in-depth spoiler thoughts on this week's movie, Saving Private Ryan. This is the Steven Spielberg movie that came out in the year that I forgot to bring up because I didn't look up.
1999.
Oop, is he right? I think he is, but I'm still gonna 98. Ooh, get fucked.
Oh, well.
Cringe.
You didn't even fucking know when it came out.
So cringe. I bet you didn't even know it was directed by Spielberg. Fake fan.
Yeah, you're
Who
right.
wrote it, huh? Who wrote it, huh? Can you guess that?
No idea.
Robert Rodat. Shout out Robert Rodat.
That's actually.
What did this guy write?
That guy wrote for.
Oh, yo, this guy wrote Thor: The Dark World. Nice.
Whoa!
Yo, that's crazy.
Oh my god.
That was the last movie he wrote. It makes sense. Yeah.
I'm actually pretty sure he did some Band of Brothers stuff, but
yeah,
that
probably
I'm not too sure, but
whatever though.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's fucking get right into it.
This is your first time seeing Saving Private Ryan.
This is my first time seeing Saving Private Ryan. That's right. I watched it for the first time this morning as well. I put it off way too long until it was finally this morning. I'm like, I guess I probably should watch this because we're doing a podcast on it tonight. Um, I guess I'll watch it. You know,
Oh man.
I'll kind of start with some of my thoughts on it, even though I usually have you start. I mean, I was expecting to like it. It's a Spielberg movie. It has Tom Hanks in it. Um, it's just so high critical acclaim for it. I'm like, I know I'm gonna enjoy it at least, and I've heard so much about that Omaha Day Beach opening scene. Um, and I was also ready to kind of be bored by some of it. It is at 2 hours and 50 minutes. And I'm not huge into war movies typically, so I had my expectations low purely for the fact of I like to keep my expectations low, so I'm not disappointed in a movie a lot. Um, but I was completely floored by this movie. I fucking loved it on every level. This movie really, really blew me away, just top to bottom.
Jesus.
I mean, obviously we'll get into it, but I don't have enough good things to say about this movie. It's way too good. I really, really loved it, especially on this first viewing. How about you? What are your some of your general thoughts on this movie?
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned Spielberg at the beginning because I think we both recognize Spielberg has kind of undersold himself a little bit in his later years.
Absolutely.
Like especially when you're coming out with shit like Ready Player One, Jesus Christ.
BFG.
BFG, yeah, Jesus. Um, I would say this is probably one of Spielberg's last good movies. Like I mean, he's always good behind the camera, but like, and I when I see a Spielberg movie, I have high expectations,
Mhm.
and he's definitely disappointed me a few
I
times.
think you could definitely
Um,
say it's the last
since
great like masterpiece level Spielberg movie.
I was gonna say maybe Catch Me If You Can, but I think this movie's better.
I mean I
Um,
love Catch Me If You Can. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
I'm not sure if
same.
I'd consider that a masterpiece level type movie on the level of
Yeah,
Schindler's List or Saving Private Ryan or Raiders of the Lost Ark.
yeah. Speak. I was gonna say,
Jaws. I don't
speaking of Spielberg, Schindler's List. Yeah. Wait, Schindler's List was his only other war movie, wasn't it?
I think so. I think that's the only.
No, that's not true.
I mean,
War Horse and
oh,
then
I forgot he did Warhorse. I mean,
there's another
Raiders of the
one
Lost
too.
Ark is. I consider Raiders of the Lost Ark a war
Technically,
movie. That
I
was
would say so. Yeah.
it. It definitely, it's as much of a war movie as Cold War is a war movie, and I put that on my list.
Yeah. No, definitely. Um. Yeah. Uh. So I would say in terms of recent Spielberg, he hasn't been the best, but this is an excellent movie. And I'm not. I've said this. I said it before in the pod, but I'm not the biggest fan of just like these like hoorah American like
Absolutely.
super like I don't know war-y exploitive almost
Yeah,
movies. But
that's the main thing
I
that's mainly turned me off of war movies my whole life.
oh yeah,
Is that type of
no,
thing.
100%. I remember specifically cringing when I was like 16 years old watching um fucking that Chris Kyle movie for the first time. Just the whole way through it, I was just like,
Yeah.
American Sniper, whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Garbage. Terrible.
Oh my god,
That movie's
bro.
actually pretty good.
It's
I
a
just like I,
well-made movie. It's
I
a
can't I,
but like
I can't stand the way they
oh, gross.
Chris Kyle. I'm
Just
not gonna get into it actually. Never mind.
propaganda. It's
Never
just
mind.
propaganda movie, but
It's super propaganda.
whatever.
But um, I like when war movies like show the real shit, man. Where
Yeah, absolutely.
where people are getting fucked up and people are getting betrayed. People are getting uh, crossed. It's war is hell, man. And
Mhm.
Private Ryan fucking starts off immediately with the D-Day scene, which goes on for 20 fucking
Well,
minutes into the
okay.
movie.
To be fair, I gotta put the disclaimer. It doesn't start off immediately. I've heard so much
Not
about that,
immediately.
how it starts off immediately with this scene. It does not start off immediately with this scene. The
It's
movie is bookend with these scenes of old Ryan going to the grave. And obviously, I mean, I
Nobody
know,
gives a
uh,
fuck
I
about
know,
grizzled Matt
it's a
Damon.
fucking little thing, but like, I
That's
was,
actually one thing I
I, I,
do
wa-
not like
I
about this
was
movie
so ready for
is Matt
this,
Damon.
for like that
Old
very
Matt Damon.
first thing, that because I had heard
Oh,
about it,
really?
how it immediately just puts you into the action, and then I see old man walking down the street. I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
Nobody fucking remembers the beginning of Matt Damon and his horrible gray hair. Okay? Uh, but anyway, let's get into the real shit, baby. Motherfucking blood, guts,
Fucking dude
you
walking
know,
around with his
fucking.
arm, bro. Oh,
That's classic.
dude, that shit is crazy. He's fucking stumbling around, looking, and he just picks up his arm. I'm like, oh my god.
So, in terms of like brutal war scenes, I would say Saving Private Ryan tops a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
like
It's been
there's
talked about to no end, like everything else in this movie, but it really is. Um, I'll kind of get into it in a bit, but it's honestly not the standout thing for me personally about what really elevated this movie, because yes, they're undeniably just horrific, those war scenes, and just perfectly crafted, and I have no complaints about them. They're really incredible, but what really elevates the movie for me personally is those scenes of really diving into these characters and the heavy themes and
mm,
morals of this movie. And some of those latter scenes that happen um, were a lot more
yes,
impactful to me personally, and really elevated this movie from just being like a, oh my god, this is like really disturbing, because it's like, it's not new
yeah,
to me in the sense of, I know war is horrible, I know how fucking just
sure.
terrible it is. I've seen it before. I've seen other war movies that have also depicted the just absolute terrors of war. Like, I enjoyed how it was portrayed, and it was undeniably perfectly executed. But yeah, the latter stuff with the writing and the characters is what really elevated this movie for me personally.
Yeah, and they give you character development for a lot of these guys
Hmm.
up right up until the very end of the movie,
Absolutely.
right up into the last scene, and it's executed very well because these are all uh, like immediately you feel for these guys. They've been through a bunch of shit probably.
Hmm.
They've seen friends die, and they literally seen brothers die.
Hmm.
Brothers go off to war and never come back home, and like you know they're going through hell right now, and the way uh, uh, the way they were able to like sit down with these characters and conversate with them and get to get an understanding of how they are, other than like defeated soldiers, they're real people.
Yeah.
And if you ever met like an actual veteran before, or someone specifically with like post traumatic stress from war, like these people are never the same,
Yeah.
and like they stay like this, like um almost shells sometimes of their former selves. And with Saving Private Ryan, I think one of the important things that they were able to do was show that these people like have a heart and that they're real fucking, they're kids, man, for the most part. And like
They've got mothers, bro. We all got mothers. We all got families,
yeah, that we all got mothers, bro. And I think the scene specifically you're probably thinking about is when with Tom Hanks and Matt Damon right after they rescued him. Um,
That's one of
when they're
many really great scenes.
discussing
Yeah.
about his brothers and discussing about his mom.
Uh-huh.
Um,
That whole sequence, and then you see Upham and Fish and Ryden, I think it was his name, them all chatting up, listening to the music and shit like that. Upham's doing like the translations for the music. I thought was just incredible.
that was awesome. that was like little things like that makes me really emotional for
Yeah,
some
no,
reason.
same here.
Like,
That stuff that's the stuff that really, especially right then with Upham, because he's instantly such a interesting character that you can't help but feel bad for, in the way of
I mean,
he's just
I
really.
don't know.
What do you mean?
Fuck up
Really?
them.
Okay,
Nah.
okay, well, okay, we'll get into that in a second. But from the beginning, at least, I really sympathized with him, and
No, yeah, I can see
he
that.
just like being thrown into this group that was obviously very tight knit from the very first scene. You see all these people, even on that beach scene. You see
Hmm.
how close all these guys are. Um, and then throwing Upham kind of into that mix. That's kind of just a hard thing in general, being the outsider in a group. And then how his experience has been with the war, also going into that as well, is just obviously a very difficult thing for him. And it was hard for him to fit in with this group. And then that's kind of that moment where you finally see Upham, like they're all accepting him, more into the group. And it kind of ties back into that earlier scene when they're first walking through and they're doing some talks, all the group. Um, and Upham's talking about like the book that he's writing, how it's
Hmm.
about the brotherhood that men or just people build during war times. They all kind of laugh at him, and then you actually get to see that brotherhood build with his character, because it's already there with all of them. You can
Yeah.
see, but then you seeing it build up again with this new character getting added into the mix, really affected me, and I thought was done really well. But you know, sadly, that does lead into um the fuck up scene, which is just the most. I This was the most brutal scene for me in the movie for sure. Was
Oh yeah.
Upham trying to fucking desperately get the courage to bring them the ammo and unable to, and then the fucking stabbing is just
Knife scene. Yeah.
so painful to watch. The whole fighting with him and everything, and then when you start to see, in, instantly see it, the moment on Fish's face when he starts to beg for his life. That's when like he knows that like he's basically gonna die, and he starts to beg with the guy. He's like, no, no, hey, stop, 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 like let's talk about this, like we can figure something out, like let's not do this. And the guy's still slowly plunging the knife into his chest. Is so
Hmm.
fucking hard. And that scene just destroyed me. And obviously, like, I was on one hand feeling like, fuck Upham, like, come on, bro, you could have saved him. But at the same time, I'm just feeling also just so horribly bad for him and everyone else who's
It's a
also
horrible
there. If
situation to
just like
be
the
in.
fucking Senate, yeah, the whole situation that they're in is just fucking terrible.
It's fucking unreasonable. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um. Funny that scene is when is it Vin Diesel's character that uh lets the one of the Germans go, and then
No,
uh
Upham left the German go.
that's right. No, 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 no,
Vin.
no, 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 no. Before before that scene, way before that scene, like in the middle of the movie, there was
Yeah, it's the
uh
scene where Wade dies, and then they let, and then they're debating whether to kill this German guy, and then like Upham kind of convinces them, like reminds them about
that's
how
right,
like they should let
that's
him
right,
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and that was after Vin Diesel already died. He died um when they were, this was like near the beginning of their journey, and they
yeah.
walked past
I was
the
thinking,
French family who had just got bombed. Another
yeah,
incredible scene of him. It's Vin Diesel trying to help the kid, and he's like, "This is the only decent thing that we can do." And Tom Hanks goes, "We're not here to do the decent thing. We're here to follow orders." Oh my god, what a fucking line, bro! Just
it's true.
horrible, horrible. Like it's that's one of the really great things about this movie. That line specifically ties into so many of the moral dilemmas that's presented in this movie. And they're presented in such an incredible way where it really makes you feel like, oh fuck, like, yeah, that is a hard decision to make. Like, I still don't know like
Is
how I
it?
feel
Is
about,
it a hard
but
decision?
exactly, is it? I don't know. But they do a
I
really
mean,
good job at making you um
you know,
really feel for some of the decisions these characters have to make. Um which
yeah,
is
no,
a hard
and
thing to
yeah,
do
and
in a
it's
war movie
throughout
like
the
that,
whole movie. It's
specifically.
throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
These tough decisions
Hmm.
come up, and usually the result is not very good.
Yeah, it basically
Uh,
every single time it always results in a death. And
yes,
that's just like the whole tragic part about it is, the whole fucking squadron ends up fucking dying just for
yeah,
this
they're all dead at the end of this
just for this
movie.
one guy,
One
which
dude.
is just a propaganda stunt. Basically, it's literally just a propaganda
It
stunt so
is.
they can put a face to the Normandy Beach thing, or Omaha Beach. Sorry, I keep fucking getting it mixed up. But fucking blah blah. What was I saying? Yeah,
Propaganda
it's all
machine.
really just like a whole propaganda stunt. The entire mission,
It
and
is.
it's fucking terrible. It's horrifying to see, and it's like you under, and I think it does a really good job at making you feel for the decision to make them do it, in the way of how much they lean into the mother, and like how the other brothers died and shit like that. I think they do make you actually understand it, in the way of, okay, like, I get it, but when it comes down to it, you're quantifying human life, and that's just impossible. It's a purely
I,
impossible thing. It comes with, that's a question that's brought up a lot in the movie of quantifying human life. Basically, it's like, Tom Hanks, he
mm,
sacrificed 96 men have died under his command, but he saved all these other ones, right? So it makes sense that that's one of the big things that I think they also do to really make you understand those decisions, is that kind of monologue that he gives. Because
yeah, one thing.
I think that's
Go ahead.
important. It's like, like, he's kind of right in a way. The like,
Yeah,
he sacrificed all these people, or like these people died, but at the same time, like, all of these other people were saved, which is great. But then it really just comes down to quantifying human life and how impossible of a task that really is.
hmm yeah, I agree. I think it's interesting that you brought up like the dilemmas and the morals of these characters. I feel like and the movie itself, I feel like it's not an anti-war movie, but it definitely leaves
I
you. I don't see anti-war at all.
I definitely
If
think
that's
it
what you're
is an
thinking, sorry.
anti-war movie. I think it teeters the
I don't
line.
think so. I mean,
I
because right after Spielberg profited right after this movie and made a
mhm.
TV show that was almost exactly the same. And even the TV show was even like it was just straight up propaganda.
Yeah.
Like it
I
was really good, but like
I think
uh,
like how it deals with the other moral questions in the movie. I'd say the same with that ideal of it being an anti-war movie. I'd say it definitely does almost feel like some sort of propaganda machine at some points, and even some, like, kind of towards the end with him. But that's not really what I got out of it, honestly. Because of all of the horrors and shit that they showed of the war and such, and how they showed that, I by the end, I did find it to be fairly an anti-war movie, in the way of seeing, because of the burden you see on Matt Damon when he's older. I do think that epilogue, the beginning and ending, book ending of it, I think actually worked really well. I really enjoyed that,
hmm,
because it does, the end doesn't work if you don't have it at the beginning, And the end works so well because you are seeing him grappling with survivor's guilt, you know? And I think that's one of the comes down to another one of the main themes of the movie is really just about survival. When you think about it, a lot of these guys, it's kind of summarized in another one of the many Tom Hanks monologues in this movie, where he kind of you realize he's not necessarily just doing this because he's following orders. He's doing this because he thinks he'll have a better chance at survival because of it. Because if he thinks if he succeeds, he'll be able to go home and see his wife finally. It and that's really like why everyone is doing this, and everything, all of the actions and everything really just stems from survival and just trying to survive your best. And that's perfectly emulated as well through those war scenes, you know. And I think it's portrayed really well, and I think that really lends to the idea of how it is an anti-war movie because of the way that it finally ends up showing Matt Damon's character at the end really struggling with that survivor's guilt, and understandably so in a way, you know. It's a really fucked up thing that
he barely knew those guys too.
Yeah,
barely knew those fucking guys.
Yeah, it's just a fucked up scenario, you know, and like he has to live with the decisions that like it wasn't his decision for these people to all come and save him, you know, which ended up leading to all their deaths. But he gets to reap the rewards of all of their deaths when it wasn't even his decision to, which is I think really effective through the beginning and ending prologue, epilogue things.
Yeah, definitely.
Another thing I wanted to mention about just how visually beautiful this movie is. Oh my god, this movie looks so nice, dude. I believe it looks like most of it was shot on 32 millimeter. I if I had to guess, I definitely think.
So, was it on film?
It looked like it, bro. It was grainy as fuck. Not as grainy as the 16 millimeter, so that's why I'm thinking it was probably 32 or 70.
Probably right.
But yeah, it was super grainy, and I think it really fit. Yeah, I mean it's just so fresh in my mind because I just watched it this morning, you know.
Yeah.
But I think it not only lends to, you know, just the time period that it was in, filming with a type of camera that was probably around during that time as well, but also the messiness and the graininess of the film also ties into a lot of the other themes that it deals with in the movie, and just visually of what's going on, and like the messiness and horrors of war, you know, and the messiness of the camera, the handheld camera. A lot of the times it's, you know, really like nauseating, you know, like some of those scenes is like
the whole fucking screen is filled with smoke.
Yeah,
everyone's faces are covered in ash.
It's fucking like completely disorientating, and like I'd say again, nauseating. Some of those scenes.
Definitely,
it's like, oh my god, like it really does do a great job at putting you in the action. And you know, I love anything that's shot on film. The film always looks great. You know, film's not always the best option, of course. Digital can always look great too. I'm not just like a fucking film.
It depends on what. I think it depends. This is a whole.
It all depends.
Topic.
It all depends on the movie.
I think it depends on what type of film it is, because I feel like if you have just regular 32, I feel like digital can pull it off just as easily.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's obviously very dependent per movie. Like everything, it's all dependent on the movie.
I think now it just depends on what lenses you're using.
Yeah,
really.
Definitely. But yeah, the movie was really incredible. A lot of like the sky was super blown out in a lot of the shots, which I thought looked really cool, honestly. in the backdrop of these just like horrifying landscapes and these really like detailed close-up character shots, with this just fucking
Mm.
blown out ass sky, I thought was just awesome.
Oh yeah.
Fucking what else? What else is great about this movie? There's so much great about this
The
movie, dude.
ending is probably one of my favorite moments. The last action scene, the whole thing together, like the ensemble of everyone in that scene.
Yeah, yeah. The whole setup,
probably my favorite.
the whole sequence of them setting it up, them relaxing before it, and then the whole sequence is incredible.
Mhm.
Incredible, absolutely.
And that scene is like, I would say in general, Saving Private Ryan was a staple that a lot of directors like used or like had homages to like Saving Private Ryan, and specifically like that scene in general. If you see like war scenes, like at least one of them will have like a scene where some dude's just like walking around in like the dust and just like staring, ominously. And like Saving Private Ryan, like, and Spielberg invented that shit. Like that wasn't really like a staple.
Yeah.
That's something you just see all the time now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I feel like Saving Private Ryan was innovative for that reason.
There's so much
Yeah.
inspiration that you can see just like oozing throughout like every single frame in this movie.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
pretty incredible. Also want to shout out the music. Who did the score for this? Great music, really great music. Used pretty sparsely throughout. It's not all the time going throughout it, but I thought it was really effective. When it was John Williams. Okay, I thought so, but I didn't want to just fucking say it.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
John
sense.
Williams did the music, and that totally makes sense. He's a
That makes
he's
sense.
a master composer. He's really incredible. And this score is no different. I think it's, like I said, sparse yet highly effective in the way that it uses it. Specifically in one scene, which was probably was my favorite sequence of the whole scene or of the whole movie is the time of Wade dying, like from like when Wade like gets shot until like them leaving,
Oh
that
yeah.
that whole time of them debating whether to let that soldier leave, the German soldier, and then the whole thing with Raiden wanting to leave as well, and then Tom Hanks really like going into like his past and finally revealing that, I thought was just a great moment. And the music that was used in that scene was just really beautiful and different from a lot of the other music in the rest of the movie. I can't really describe it, but it was just a lot softer, fitting the scene properly really well. And I thought that
That
was
famous
one of the most
story.
really beautiful scenes.
I agree. That famous story that Matt Damon is telling Tom Hanks was apparently improv.
Really?
Apparently the barn story was about his brothers was improv, which is incredible.
Wow. Yeah.
They were able to pull off. But like Matt Damon's like he's a classic actor's actor. Like he knows what the fuck he's doing.
Absolutely. Matt Damon is a
and,
great
like,
actor.
Like you can like you actually, you know what, I was gonna say you can clown on Matt Damon for like, I mean you can, like We Bought a Zoo is horrendous, but like Matt Damon's a great actor, man. Holy, he's one of the best we have right now.
No doubt. Yeah. That's
one of the best writers
incredible
we
that
have.
That scene was improvised.
One of the best writers we have.
Yeah, for sure. Man, yeah. I wanted to mention just all of the complete range of emotions that he shows in that like 2-minute monologue or whatever is just crazy. That scene is really really impressive. And then
if you don't cry during that, you have no soul.
Yeah. And then it was just so perfect and beautiful right after when he asks him, hey, tell me about your wife and the roses. And he's like, and Tom Hanks is like, no, I keep that one for myself. I'm like, nice. I love that. That's awesome. That's great. That's so good. God, this movie was really well written, which was something I wasn't fully expecting, honestly, in a war movie to have just such a tight, well written script that is just really flows together really well. Obviously, just incredibly natural dialogue with all of these characters, giving really great insight into each of them and really understanding each of them is really impressive. Um, but it's just so enjoyable, and it's another one of those long war epics where it's over 2.5 hours, and I really think it flies by.
It's long.
I
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't feel like a long movie.
I did not feel its length at all, for sure. It is incredibly well paced, and that's a big thing to Spielberg and his incredible directing and the editing and such like that. But he's worked with the same fucking crew forever, and how they work, and they're Spielberg is a master of pace, I believe. And this movie is just kind of a fucking just absolute flex of it, Absolutely. Which is just so impressive on every level.
Yeah, yup.
Yeah, dude. Fuck, I'm tired.
Is there anything else to say about this movie? Did we get any write-ins for this one?
None for this movie, but I did have one person write in their top 3 war movies, which I'll get into a little. I think I had a few other things I wanted to bring up about this movie. I can't
do it.
I guess, did you have any issues with this movie?
Shit. I'm trying to think about this. For context, Jacob just watched this movie. I've seen this movie a ton, but it's been a while, so let me think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, while you think about that, I'll just say my piece on it.
Definitely.
I don't, honestly. I don't. I was sitting on it throughout and thinking. Of course, I'm a very active movie watcher, always like trying to find little things throughout it, and then just thinking about it for the past few hours since I've finished it. I don't have any issues with it. I can't think of a single thing I have a qualm with. I think it's just really perfect, honestly.
All around, it's really good, and I'm thinking I can't think of anything. But like Spielberg, like the only thing Spielberg can really mess up on is characters and writing. Everything else is usually perfect. His visuals are great. He gets the right people for the right job. His sound directing is usually fantastic.
Yeah, the sound mixing in this movie is incredible during especially some of those
really
war
is.
scenes.
For its time.
Oh, absolutely.
It's incredible because
Even
it holds
now,
up.
It holds up perfectly. Those war scenes, alongside the nauseating visuals, are just so attacking. With its sound, it's so aggressive, and I would fucking kill to watch this movie in a theater, just blowing
they were playing
back
it.
Into your seat completely.
AMC was playing it.
Damn, tragic.
They were playing it like they're just playing a bunch of like cool. Old blockbusters, and they had it like one Saturday.
Yeah.
Rip. That's okay.
Rest in peace. Wish I made that for sure. Yeah. Man, dude. Yeah. I really loved this movie. I feel like, I definitely had something else I wanted to say about it. Probably just like specific scene stuff. But do you want to go over? Do you have any other another like favorite scene that you'd want to bring up, talk about?
Not really. I do want to mention I love this cast, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, who's the guy who plays fucking, I'll pull it up now. I can't even remember his name. Tom Sizemore, who plays Sergeant Horvath.
Oh yeah,
he's
Horvath.
Great.
Yeah. There's some fucking Ted Danson's in this movie.
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston's in this fucking movie.
I laughed when I saw Ted Danson in it, because whenever I see Ted Danson, I always just think of Ted Danson and Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I'm like, nice.
Oh, that's funny.
But,
I love Ted Danson.
Yeah, no, he's great.
Did you ever watch like Cheers or anything?
No, I haven't.
If you ever like want to watch old TV, I high key recommend Cheers.
Giovanni Ribisi, who plays Wade.
Oh yeah,
Oh, he's phenomenal. Didn't know that was his name, but I recognize him from like a million other stuff. He's really
Paul G-
incredible. He was definitely one of my
Paul
favorite
Giamatti's
characters.
in this.
Paul fucking Giamatti. Adam Goldberg, who plays Mellish,
Oh yeah.
is incredible. Mellish, aka Fish. I've been referring to him as Fish this whole time, but it's his character's name is Mellish. They also call him Fish quite a few times. He's incredible in this movie. You have to say, he had the most brutal death scene. I thought for sure.
Barry Pepper's in this. Actually, we just saw a movie with Barry. Well, you did actually saw a movie with Barry Pepper recently.
Who?
He hasn't
Oh,
done much.
Barry Pepper. Oh, what did I see
You watched?
recently that he's in?
He's the dad in Crawl.
Oh, he's the
I'm pretty
fucking dad in Crawl. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I didn't even fucking realize that, dude. Man, shout out
Yeah.
Crawl. That movie's fucking awesome.
Shout out Barry Pepper. I wish he acted more because
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think he's kind of underrated.
He's great. Yeah. Oh, he was phenomenal in this movie, and same as in Crawl. Yeah. Looking at his discography real quick, he does not have a lot of credits. He definitely needs some more. He's incredible.
He's been in very few stuff, but he like everything I've seen Barry Pepper in has been really good. Yeah, he was in he was in the True Grit remake.
Yeah, man.
He was but like yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure did he play Punisher? No, that was Thomas Jane. I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
Being stupid. But,
he was in the Green
he was
Mile.
also in the. Yeah, I was gonna say he was in Green Mile
I haven't
too.
seen Green Mile.
Tom Hanks. You haven't seen the Green Mile?
No, I want to.
Have you seen Shawshank?
I have seen Shawshank. Yeah, I love Shawshank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you love Shawshank, you'll love the Green Mile.
I'm sure it's been on. I have it on DVD. Alongside a million other movies that I have on DVD that I have never seen. Because that's just what I do. But
that's just what I do.
I'll get around to it eventually. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This movie's just really great. I really, really loved this. Before we kind of get into the buddy who wrote in this week, might as well just attach a score to this movie right now while we're at it. Yeah, I can't give this movie any less than a 5 out of 5. It's a perfect movie, I think. I really, really loved it. I was just completely floored top to bottom. It's just so impressive and so affecting on so many different levels, I think.
It's definitely A+ for me as well. It's just hard to find anything bad about the movie. It's really hard.
Whoa, Nick disconnected. Hey, Nick fucking up again.
I thought you disconnected.
Oh no.
That was weird.
Weird. I don't know. Weird. I don't know. Yeah, you're the one who disconnected on my screen, but I don't
didn't fucking touch anything. It just.
I'm gonna be honest. My Wi-Fi has been a little sketch recently. It definitely could have been me.
It's Discord, bro. Discord's terrible.
Whoa! You can't shout out Discord. Maybe they'll sponsor us someday for filming all of our podcasts on it.
Wait, does Discord even do that for people?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
That doesn't seem like something they would do.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you gave it A+, right? That's what you're saying.
Definitely A+.
A 5 out of 5 on the scale that we usually give stuff, but Nick's got to be special and give his own rating because he's fucking stupid.
It's not special. It's literally not special. Roger Ebert, Leonard Maltin, all these famous movie writers.
We're in the new age, baby.
Letter scores.
We're in the new age, baby. We're on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
We rate all of our shit how Letterboxd does.
Bunch of Zoomers who only started watching movies because they thought Whiplash was amazing. Yeah, all right, cool.
Oh my god.
My favorite director is Damien Chazelle.
Oh my god, it's just at me
buddy.
Constantly. Fucking A, bro. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Anyway, yeah, that'll fucking conclude our review on Saving Private Ryan, though. Shout out my cousin Cooper, who wrote in this week. Shout out Cooper. He wrote in for
What up, Cooper?
his top 3 war movies for the week, or not for the week. It's his top 3 war movies in general. They are Grave of the Fireflies, Apocalypse Now, and Dunkirk. So first thing I want to mention is Dunkirk. Obviously, shout out. Very fucking happy you got that on your list. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Dunkirk, and I think it's amazing. So I'm incredibly overjoyed to see Dunkirk on another person's favorite war movies list, because, yeah, Dunkirk's fucking amazing. And then Apocalypse Now, of course, a classic. I love Apocalypse Now as well. I've only seen Apocalypse Now once, and I've only seen the Redux version, which is the version that has like 45 extra minutes of footage. So it's quite a bit longer.
Really?
Yeah. And I really enjoyed it when I saw it. I knew I was watching that version. It was because my brother, who's obsessed with the movie, he's like, bro, you gotta watch the Redux version. If you're gonna watch it, we gotta, you know? I'm like, all right, I guess we'll watch the Redux version. And so I watched it, you know, and I loved it. It was great. But, you know, maybe sometime soon I'll revisit it and watch the original cut and see what I think. But, yeah, Apocalypse Now is great. And then Grave of the Fireflies, man. Have you seen Grave of the Fireflies?
I actually have. This is animated anime, right?
Yep. Hayao Miyazaki.
This is old, bro.
Yeah, this is a Studio Ghibli movie. Which is, you know, a lot of Studio Ghibli movies obviously do end up having a lot more deeper, darker themes in them. But this movie is easily, obviously, the very darkest Ghibli movie they have. This movie is really fucked up and really depressing.
Yeah, it is.
I was heavily debating adding this movie on my list as well. It would have slotted into the category that Cold War was in, I would say.
Yeah,
in the category of, you know, how it affected interpersonal relationships and stuff, and people outside of the war, you know, who weren't directly involved in it typically, and how it affected them in many ways. And yeah, I think Grave of the Fireflies is a perfect movie as well. That movie really broke me when I first watched it. I've only seen it once, and it was when I was probably like 14 or something, and it really shattered me. You know, it's a really deeply disturbing, heartfelt, yet sad movie, you know?
Absolutely. That's a great pick.
Yeah, so shout out Cooper for writing in. Really great list right there. Run it down. Grave of the Fireflies, Apocalypse Now, Dunkirk. Love all those. All 3 of them could have easily been on my list. You know, Apocalypse Now was one of the ones I was also heavily debating putting into the war epic, you know. Dunkirk would have been on my list if I, you know, hadn't talked about it just absurdly on this podcast just way too many times already, you know. So yeah, I definitely agree with that list.
Jesus.
Dude, I just want
to... Did you see, I want to form... Oh, hello.
Sorry.
Hey.
Sorry, Grandma. I'm pretty sure my grandma just figured out, she found my YouTube channel recently, and so, don't check out this episode, Grandma. I'm sorry. I'm embarrassing our family. This is embarrassing.
Sorry, Grandma.
Oh, God.
Because Grandma watched 2 hours of this already.
Hey, she loves war movies, maybe. Shout out my grandma. She's watching this. I love you. I love you, Grandma. Thank you for supporting me, even though I have a lot worse of a potty mouth and mind on this podcast than you probably think. Oh, fuck, bro.
You naughty boy, Jacob. No cookies for you.
Damn it. I'm not getting fed next time. Anyway, bro.
Let's end this thing.
Let's end this. Let's wrap this podcast up. It was a good episode. Jesus. Fucking thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for listening. Check us out. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Share with all your friends. No, for real though. Thanks for listening to the episode, guys. It really does mean a lot. We're on our 9th episode. You know, we've been doing this for a while. It's been great doing this podcast. You can check us out at my YouTube channel, Jacob Nestor, or, you know, find the podcast on any podcast sharer, Anchor, Spotify, anything else in the closet with Jacob Nestor. follow the social medias in the closet WJN, Instagram and Twitter, or you can follow my personal social medias, Jacob Nestor 568, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterbox. Obviously, always posting a lot of stuff over Letterbox, getting way too addicted to that site. So follow me on there. And
Letterboxd
check
is
out the
great.
fucking Closet Quickie election. Run that shit up. That's getting like no views compared to all the other shit that I've got. So please watch the election Closet Quickie. Fucking Nick, you got what you want to shout out?
Nick underscore sailing, most of my socials. Check out my letterbox. It's becoming Christmas season, so I got an excuse to watch some Christmas horror.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
definitely going to be posting a lot of that, so look out for that. And
Also, to throw back the last episode, I did go through the description on all of the episodes, and edited Nick's name because I spelled his name wrong on every single episode. So I did do that, so you can.
Should have kept it wrong.
Fuck. Dude, I'm sure you're gonna start blowing up on Letterboxd now that I fixed it.
Oh,
you know?
Absolutely! Can't wait.
From all the listeners that we get. But no, shout out though. You know, we've been consistently getting like 15 to 30 per episode, which is a wide range, I know, but like minimum 15, maximum 30 per episode, which is fucking awesome. It really means a lot. This podcast has been a really great thing to do, and so yeah, thanks for listening, guys. And so tune in 2 weeks. I gotta get used to saying that now since we're officially that bi-weekly podcast.
Baby.
Tune in 2 weeks for our next episode when we are gonna be reviewing You've Got Mail, and the topic we're gonna be talking about our top 3 film-related people that we are most thankful for. So if you want to
do some writing for this one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to start compiling my list for that. So, if you want to join in on the conversation for that, obviously, DM the socials of In the Closet WJN, Instagram or Twitter, if you want to participate in whatever your top 3 film-related people that you're thankful for, that mean the much to you, or your thoughts on the movie You've Got Mail. And so tune in for that. Tune in for the Closet Quickie that I'm also going to be posting this next week. And thanks for listening, guys. See ya.
Bye.